everyone. My name is Valerie Friedlander, and I'm your host for Motherhood Unlimited, the #1 summit for moms who want it all. Welcome and thank you for joining us. It is our mission to take the limits off motherhood and empower moms to have it all for their own unique and vibrant life. We believe that when moms learn to create where, who, and how they want to be on their mom life adventure, that their happiness and overall life satisfaction increases and they become inspired and inspirational for their children and each other. Today we are talking about Stop Stressing Me Out, how burnout contributes to chronic disease. Our expert is Dr. Lisa Lewis. I invited her to share with you because of her work helping people create a healthier, stress-free lifestyle. So thank you so much, Dr. Lisa, for being here with us today.
Hello, how you doing? Welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So before we get started, let me tell the audience a little bit about you. Dr. Lisa Lewis is your rapid recovery expert, the CEO of Lewis Healing Institute, owner of NatureDrs. Oh, you're going to have to help me with this one, Lisa.
Nutraceuticals.
Nutraceuticals. Awesome. The Steer University graduate, leading licensed board certified naturopathic doctor, acupuncturist, healthy living mentor, author, and speaker. Dr. Lisa is part of the 1%, but not the 1% you might be thinking of. Because of her natural medicine expertise, she rapidly recovered from a surgical error that statistically occurs in only 1% of surgeries. Dr. Lisa's powerful calling is helping people overcome significant health challenges. She teaches high-achieving, spirit-led professionals and entrepreneurs that are stressed out, overworked, who have been ignored by, lost faith in, or been mistreated by the healthcare system, how to reclaim their health, holistically transform disease to delight, ushering them into a healthier and more vibrant lifestyle. Sounds good to me.
Yes.
Fabulous. So tell us a little bit about your journey to how you take the limits off of motherhood.
Wow. I have so many patients that come in. The majority of them, I'd say 90% of my patients are women. And I would then say about 90% of those women are mothers. And they're mothers in the spectrum. Like, some have transitioned to grandmotherhood, right? But they're still mommies. They're always mommies, right? And what I know is that women in general, but especially moms, give all of themselves to their families. I mean, they just give everything that they have to their loved ones, right? And in that, many times they're giving to everyone else, but they're missing out on self. They've taken away, they've pushed the self-care to the side, right? And they're just really laser focused on family. And that takes a toll on them, right? It takes a toll on you when you give up your personal, what makes you personally feel good and what makes you feel alive to give to the family. Right. And so I've been really supporting women for years to transition and give from their overflow, right? To be able to fill their cup up fully and to be healthy and to be vibrant, but also to be able to take care of their families and lead example for their families so that they're so healthy and happy and like you said, doing everything that they want to do so they can have it all. And then they're showing their family and their children how to do it. And their children are moving into healthy lifestyles and their husbands are moving into healthy lifestyles and their extended families around them. So I really support people in having it all, just like you said, because if you don't have your health, then basically there's nothing left to say.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have anything. Yeah. Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, all right, I know when I've been pushing myself and I hear about, kids, they cause you to go gray. They cause you to, lose your hair. My husband keeps going, is my hairline receding? And so, but tell us, I know that there are other things to look out for, little indicators, and hopefully we're taking care of ourselves to the point where before that we really need to get really checked out. But what are signs that we might need to take a little more space?
Yeah. There's so many signs. When we think about burnout and stress, right? There's so many things that are attributed to stress that most people don't think are really attributed to stress. And let me explain that. I could be stressed out, but I might think it's 12 other things and not stress, because I don't want to think that stress is beating me. I don't want to think that, I can't handle stress, right? Because that's the thing that always people want to do. They want to handle. I'm not stressed out. I'm handling my stress. I'm taking care of it. Stress isn't beating me, right? And so there's so many symptoms or so many diseases that are associated to stress that we would be on here all day and all night, right? So I'll give you just a good few of them that I think are unusual that most people don't really think of. So especially when we think about mothers, many have children, but they might want to have more, right? Multiple children. So for infertility is huge. It's hugely attached to stress and or difficult pregnancies, difficult recoveries from pregnancy. All of that around hugely attached to stress. So that would also be attached to hormonal imbalances. As some of the mothers on here might be older mothers, menopausal symptoms. Menopause is a natural occurrence, whereas our hormones start to reduce, but symptoms are really can be attached to stress and how healthy our body is, because it's supposed to be natural. We're not supposed to have any real major symptoms from menopause. But when we think about menopause, especially in the US, we think about hot flashes, right? We think about weight gain. We think about mood swings. All those things are all attached to menopause, but they're really not. They're just attached to an imbalance as you're going through menopause and you're imbalanced. So let's look at hot flashes. Let's look at weight gain. Let's look at mood and mood fluctuations, irritability. All of those are additional signs of stress. Hair loss, as you mentioned, skin dryness and itching, thyroid challenges, or it can be hyper or hypothyroidism, digestive imbalances. I mean, you name it, we could go through the gamut. Like I said, we could be here all day. But energy is huge. Energy, weight gain. Most people just feel drained and just the inability to focus. So there's a lot of mental and emotional symptoms attached to it. Yeah. I think that might have been about 12 or 15 that I just mentioned.
It's fabulous, because that actually really resonates with some of my experiences. Like we really struggled to get pregnant, and I was under a lot of stress, and then of course the trying to get pregnant again. And I know several moms who, trying for the second time, and the trying process is stressful. And then I saw someone who did nutritional support, and did a blood cell analysis and looked at me, and I had stress. She could see that my cells were reacting to stress, and to I had an overgrowth of candida. And I always thought, I thought of that as something that, that's a yeast infection. Yeah. But I didn't know that it could actually be like a systemic thing. Yeah. And I had even seen like an endocrinologist, and they were like, everything's pretty much fine with you. Like your testosterone levels are a tad high, but not enough that would cause any problems. Mm-hmm. And I heard about that whole high cortisol levels can actually throw things off internally, and the stress and
so, it can be high or low. So there's a really there's a balance for where cortisol should be. So if it's too high, it can create an imbalance, and then if it's too low, it can also create an imbalance, because cortisol is released from our adrenal glands. Our adrenal glands sit at the top of our kidneys. So if these are our kidneys, our adrenal glands are these nice little triangular glands that sit right on top of the kidneys, and they release a lot of our hormones, female and male hormones, but they really release these stress hormones, which are cortisol and DHEA. right? And so cortisol is the strongest anti-inflammatory known to man. So, you know, if you think about prednisone as a common drug, right, it was actually patterned after cortisol, or our natural cortisol. So it's a really, really, really powerful anti-inflammatory. So if it's too high, you're going to have too much inflammation in your body. And then if its cortisol is too low, it can't have the significant anti-inflammatory effect that it would normally have in the body, and therefore inflammation runs rampant throughout the body. So there's really a narrow window for when it's optimal. But we don't have to worry too much about it if it's elevated, because it's going to go high for short periods of time. Mm-hmm. That's what it's supposed to do, the ebb and the flow, right? It's supposed to make sure that if we go through a stressful time, that we can secrete and release enough of it to help us to be able to handle that stressful situation. That's the fight or flight, right? Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to go back down, right? That's natural. See, but we're running from the tiger all day, every day, like all day. And who is not running from the tiger more than moms, right? Right? If they're home, they're taking care of the business, they're taking care of family. If they're at work, they're taking care of family, right? And so the cortisol levels might go up and down more often, but they might stay up longer than down, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's, if it starts to stay high for significant levels and significant days and weeks at a time, then that's considered chronic stress. And then if that happens too long, then we're going to just peter out. Mm-hmm. Adrenal glands are going to be like, listen, I just can't work this hard anymore. I'm tired. I need some support and you're not helping me. And they're just going to drop down. And that's when the cortisol levels at that lower level are going to help to the body then produce a lot of inflammation, because they've just given up. They're just tired and they can't release it. So we want to stop chronic stress from happening. But most people, they'll come to me, especially moms, they'll come to me with their cortisol a little bit high at some days, sometimes a day, and then low at other times, and then normal. And that's what we call more stage 2, when they're not really completely 100% depleted, but they're not at that early stage, because the early stage is a little more difficult the symptoms are a little bit easier to deal with. Mm-hmm. But that middle stage is when people start to experience dis-ease that stops them from being able to live their life in a fulfilling way. And mm-hmm. that's when they usually show up. Now, some people show up to me completely like depleted too, mm-hmm. but I hope to get them before that happens. So moms have a unique challenge, because they give all day. If they're working outside the home, they give all day at work. They give all evening at home. They give all weekend, right? When do they shut down? When do they give to self? And that's the pattern that creates adrenal fatigue.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you help moms when they come to you in those stages. Yeah. What do you help them do? What are some tips that maybe the listeners at home can start attending to?
Yeah. So usually one of the, and I didn't tell them, like, gosh, one of the symptoms that I should have talked about in the beginning is sleep. Oh my gosh. It's like, how could I have forgotten that one, right? That's like mom central numero uno, right? No sleep, right?
Yeah, no, we don't think sleep is just not part of our reality anymore. It just doesn't exist.
We're just never going to get another good night's sleep until like we're 25, right? So.
Yeah, I thought it was fine for a little while, and then my 2-year-old started teething again. It was like, no.
I know. So when the children are 25 and out of the house, finish college, then maybe you get some sleep, right?
All right. So in the meantime, what do I do?
So sleep is one of the biggest issues, because that breeds fatigue and exhaustion and, mental, confusion and constant loss of concentration and reduced memory, and the body doesn't heal as quickly, and, all that. Right, it's just essential. So usually they show up in sleep deprivation, fatigue, And just by not feeling good, the body just doesn't feel well anymore. So the first things that I do is I test the cortisol. After I take a case, right? So I have to take your case. I have to know where your imbalances are. I have to understand like what the real causes of your challenges are. So that's the first phase. We sit down, you sit in a big comfortable chair, and you just release and you breathe and you relax and you just emote. Right? Because I'll ask you a ton of questions, things you probably haven't even thought about. And you're going to tell me a whole lot of things that you've never even told anyone about. Because you're like, how'd that come out my mouth? Like, you're really going to just feel comfortable enough to just breathe. And we can do this via the phone. We can do it in person. So once I take that case, I study it because I'm going to look for the words that you say, the red thread throughout the entire, what I call your case, that red thread throughout the case, the things that I think are the biggest challenges that you have. And then I'm going to treat those challenges. And one of the most important things is to know is that if you have stress, you don't have to figure out, like ruminate over where you are in the process. We can test it. We can test your stress, which is probably the most illuminating idea that we could have had, because most people, when they used to go to the doctors and they could find nothing else really wrong, and they would say, you're stressed out, go home and take a vacation or relax. And you're like, well, dude,
Valium.
Right, or Valium, right?
Valium.
If I could take a break, or if I could sleep, or if I could relax, I wouldn't be in your office, right?
Right.
So now we test it. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to test it. I'm going to ask you to take a saliva test, which will determine what your cortisol levels and what your DHEA levels are. And then I know exactly where you are in the spectrum. And from there, I'll be able to use a myriad of things. Herbs, which of course, because I'm a natural doctor, right? We're going to use herbal remedies and supplements. So you mentioned, we talked about NatureDrs Nutraceuticals, right? So we use nutraceuticals, which are really forms, really potent and absorbent forms of minerals and nutrients that are used that we use therapeutically. So we're using vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and herbs as a way to treat. Most people think, oh, well, I'm taking a little bit of this and a little bit of echinacea, or I'm taking whatever, right? And they think that's treating them. But just like anything else, you need therapeutic levels. You need a right amount of something to work at the right number of times a day and all that kind of stuff. So that's my thing. That's why I have a nutraceutical company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing, because normally I'll use food as medicine, right? So yeah, we'll make sure that your diet is amazing, and we'll help you move through the process of shifting and taking the sugar out and as much of the wheat as we can get out, and the dairy and all the things that we know that create the imbalance. But that takes time. That's not something that people can just jump into straight away. Yeah, I'm going to change your diet. I'm going to put you on a detox and cleanse. I'm going to do all that. But you need support now, right? You need to go to bed tonight, right? You need your energy to boost and build that very moment, right? So I use the nutraceuticals, especially in the beginning, the supplements, to help to give you those therapeutic levels. And then throughout the process, I'm weaving all the food as medicine in, and you're changing your diet, and you're learning how to really shift and change your health. And your body's changing. It's improving in ways that you would never imagine, and it's going fast, like really quickly. And so it's a multi-pronged approach. We'll also deal with lifestyle imbalances, like sleep hygiene and ways that can help you sleep better. Exercise is always a huge part of it. But if you're really stressed out and your body's really depleted, you can't just go and try and get on the treadmill, because you're on the treadmill already all day, right? It's like you're running. The last thing you want to do is spend another hour running on the treadmill, right? And so the body doesn't really respond when you're highly stressed to intense exercise. It responds to yoga and meditation and things that balance out your body while you're getting the exercise. I also teach people how to meditate. because it's really important to be able to really put your body in a state of ease and relaxation, and to calm your mind, and to help you to access support and energy that you would get from what I call the universe, right? So it's really important to deep breathe as well. So, I mean, there's so many, I mean, we could be here again all day and night talking about the ways, and not one patient is the same. Everyone will not follow the same regimen. They will not do things the exact same way, because everyone's an individual. So how can I just, give the same protocol to everyone? Something will resonate with you that won't resonate with your friend, right? And so it's really a dynamic healing process. It's not static, and it's not something that's just written in stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's interesting. I did a cleanse, like when I was first trying to get pregnant, and the next time I did, because that's actually what I got pregnant after doing that. And it was pretty amazing, just cutting out the things that you said, the dairy, the wheat, the processed sugars, and lemon juice for the liver, and cranberry juice for the kidneys, and then the bouncing, running, or dry brushing to move the lymph system around. And all of those things, it was like, well, those things were easy. Now the diet change, that was really hard, especially when trying to feed a family. Like I tried to do it again, and I was like, I can't even. So that was intense. So being able to do a few little things. Yeah. So what are some general things like that that you find? And I know it's hard to give the specifics or have that would support, but.
Yeah, I get that, and I just wanted to piggyback really quickly on a couple of things that you said, because I think what you said was really powerful, right? And I think you like ease through it, right? You like right, and I just want to go back and piggyback on that. Okay, so number one, you were having challenges getting pregnant, and you basically changed. You changed your diet for a certain period of time. You did detoxing, which is basically cleansing and clearing out most of your 5 organs of elimination, right? You have the lungs, so you do deep breathing and exercising. The colon, where you're going to help eliminate everything that's not supposed to be in the body, right? And so we're going to use milk thistle and things like that to cleanse the liver, right? Which is the big organ of elimination. That's the most powerful. That's the largest, or the largest internal organ of elimination. Now we have the skin. So you did the dry brushing for both the skin and for the lymph, right? To help to the body, and we sweat also to help cleanse. And so I have people do infrared. I have an infrared sauna at the office, and I have people use the infrared sauna, which is a really powerful. And now it's infrared, not steam, right? Because the infrared is the sun, is the spectrum from the sun. You're getting all the energy and the things that we get, all the healing stuff from the sun without the radiation, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we know that the sun is like it's like the most powerful healer, right? And so, but because of the radiation, right, we can't stand in it all day, right? So the infrared sauna is huge, and so that's another organ of elimination. And then the kidneys, you talked about eliminating urinating more, but you can use uva ursi, herbs like uva ursi and things like that. But you also use the grapefruit and foods that are going to cleanse. So it just by opening up your organs of elimination, getting some of the toxins out, you were able to allow your body to heal faster, to not have to work so hard. And then your body was like, okay, I'll take care of the rest. And it took care of the rest. And next thing you know, voila, you're pregnant, right? So that's a very, very powerful testimony to how you can make really minute and when I say minute, based on the big scheme of things, right? How many years you've been living and all the things that you've been doing, minute changes that you made to then shift. But now you're in the midst of the struggle, the motherhood challenge, right? And now it's very hard for you to repeat that. Because before you were doing it to get pregnant and you only had you to take care of, and maybe your husband too. Right?
He played along the first time, and then the second time he's like, yeah, I'm not stopping cheese. Sorry, not happening.
Not doing that. Sorry, right? And so it really has to be a natural transition to help to start to incorporate alternatives to help them really see how the food that they're eating is causing dis-ease, right? To be able to bring the kids in and make it fun and slip vegetables into things that they wouldn't naturally know would have a vegetable in it, right? To begin to do all these things, because now you're the mom, you're the food provider of the house, right? How you cook and how you bring foods in the house and how you create the lifestyle, so goes your family, right? So it's so important for you to start to learn how to incorporate these healthy ways of living and eating into your life, because if you don't now do it, then when are the kids going to do it? And you know hubby's not going to start just because, right? It's something that will have to happen. Like he'll have to have high blood pressure or high blood sugar and not want to go on medication, and then he'll want to change, right? Because I don't want to go on those meds, because those meds have crazy side effects, and we don't want to talk about that. Men are like, those are the men who show up in the office because they have the side effects, and I say, I know you're on medication, and I know you don't want to be on it anymore, and I know why. So I'll support you, and then I get flowers from me and the wife. Because life is a little bit happier.
Yeah. Well, and I've noticed that some of the changes that I made, just because I was at the time I was doing a lot of the cooking.
Yes.
It kind of infused, like I started making smoothies
Yeah.
to get some of those, and great way to slide in the greens. Nobody notices.
Yeah.
And now my husband is like the one who primarily makes the smoothies because he loves that. He's like, oh, this is really good, and I'm eating well.
That's one way. That's the one thing that I know men will do. Like if they taste it, and the first time they taste it, it's not like, it doesn't taste like grass, right? Yeah. They're like, I can do this because I thought this thing was going to taste a whole lot worse. And then they start to like it. And then, they work out, they can have a smoothie before, they can do it for breakfast. So that's an amazing way. A green drink is actually how I start my morning. And that's one of the important things that I think you can do, because it provides you with a huge amount of minerals and nutrients, and especially your vegetables early in the morning. We need 5 servings of vegetables a day. And if you don't get at least one of them at breakfast, you're kind of like already, you're behind the 8 ball, right? Mm-hmm. So I get at least 2 servings of vegetables in the morning from my smoothie. And then as they begin to like it, right, and their taste buds change, because it takes 21 days to actually change to replace the taste buds in our mouth. So if we eliminate sugar or eliminate salt or eliminate something that we're really that we're kind of addicted to, right? And our bodies have said, no, they're not good for us, but we're like, okay, I want it anyway, right? If we spend 21 days abstaining from it, then our taste buds, the majority of the sugar taste buds will start to remove themselves and are replaced by a different flavor. So that's why it's really important to abstain from something for at least 21 days. But if they do the smoothie and then you're like sneak in a little bit more vegetables every day and then a little bit more vegetables until you get to this critical mass where it's mostly vegetables and just a little bit of fruit for flavor, then that's when you got them. Because then the body will start to want more vegetables throughout the day, because it's hungering, it's desiring the vegetable, not desiring the fruit or the bread or the other things that we tend to be addicted to in this society, because we suffer from this, sad diet, the standard American diet, which is horrifying. So the food changes are huge, and then the sleep hygiene, covering the eyes with the eye pillow, making sure the room is completely dark, making sure the noise and the phones and all those are at least turned off. If you can't take them, if you're so addicted, you can't put them in another room, then you can at least turn them off and maybe put them on vibrate. Making sure you hydrate is huge. I can't tell you what percentage of people in the world, or at least especially in the US, are dehydrated. That it's probably 90% of our population.
Yeah, I've heard that when you actually feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Yep.
And I'm all like, okay, I'm going to have my water.
Right, exactly. As we both say that, like,
I have my unicorn cup. It says, I believe.
Yes.
I believe in hydration.
and it's so important that the body also tends to think like, oh, I'm hungry, when it's really, I'm thirsty, because we're so used to getting that hunger pang that we immediately think it's that sensation. We think it's a hunger pang, but it's actually a thirst mechanism. So if you get that hunger pain, drink first, take some water first. And we mean water, not like something watery, not something liquid, no coffee, guys, get rid of the coffee. Just real straight water. And then you'll be surprised that you'll eat less, you'll lose weight because you won't be taking as many calories, and you'll feel a lot more energetic. So hydration is a huge part, and it's just sipping all day long, because if you drink and guzzle for a long period of time, you'll just go straight to your kidneys. Now, it's great to guzzle when you're trying to cleanse your kidneys, but if you run into the bathroom all day long, then you'll tend not to want to drink water, because you'll say, oh, I'm drinking water and I have to run to the bathroom. That's uncomfortable. So you want to sip all day long, just an ounce or two at a time. And if you do that all day long, you will have had more than enough water throughout the day. So, I mean, drinking, sleeping, exercising, changing your diet, like even minute things that you can pull out of your diet and add into your diet, making sure that you move, meditate, and ensure that you just, have a positive, amazing attitude. Just attack life with just the most vim and vigor that you can. Smile as often as you can, because, people respond to an amazing smile, and it just makes you feel better.
I heard that it actually triggers in your brain when you smile, that it triggers your brain that you feel good. So even if you don't feel good, if you just smile, like I've made a habit of walking down the street.
Yes.
I drop my kids off at the train with their daddy, and I walk home to work, and I smile at everyone I walk past, even if I don't feel like it. And I find that by the time I get home, I actually feel really good, especially if I get some reciprocation. Though I have a few people who are kind of just like you.
Exactly. I know,
like, okay, I smile at you anyway.
What's her problem, right?
Like, okay, you're having a bad day. You need me to smile at you.
Exactly. And that's and other than and also it keeps the the frown lines off of our faces. So
yeah, though I find that I'm getting a few smile
lines. Well, I'd rather have
fine.
lines.
I'm good with that. I'm good. Well, I love that the taste buds thing. That was a really big one for me, because I knew that my taste buds changed after doing a cleanse, and that sweet stuff was so much sweeter, and it was like I just stopped putting sugar in my coffee, because it's too sweet. Salt, all of those things, but I didn't know the amount of time it took to switch that. So the body
is amazing. I mean, if you just think about the most minute thing about the body, you're in awe. You're in awe, because everything works perfectly together. It's just absolutely amazing, and it so supports you when you do this work. Your internal healer praises you, and it thanks you, and it rises up to support you, right? And so many things that we're doing all day are suppressing our internal healer, right? And just the smile thing is amazing. I smile all day. People are like, you're so happy, you smile all day. And that's when I'm not smiling, people are like, uh-oh, something's wrong. I'm smiling, and I'm humming a little tune. And my patients even notice, especially because I'm also an acupuncturist, right? When I'm doing acupuncture, and they're like, you're always humming while you're doing acupuncture. It always makes me feel so much better. And I didn't even think about it, because it's something naturally we do. So just those positive things that we can do for ourselves can just shift our brain chemistry, as you talked about. Our neurotransmitters, our dopamine and our serotonin will shift. Our cells in our body will shift, and they'll brighten up, right? They'll help release toxins. So there's just small changes. I don't want people to think that they have to completely change everything about their lifestyle to be healthy. Just make one small change at a time, and then just keep making changes little by little by little. But if you're sick and you really need support, you can get that support and then continue to make those changes. Don't just stop when you feel better. The body needs to continue that movement. So it's a journey. That's the best way to describe it. It's not a destination, it's a journey.
Yes, absolutely. It's so, oh gosh, keeping that in mind is so key. But it's also, I just, to be able to mark things off on the calendar and say, it's not like forever. Like eventually my body adapts to this new behavior, like exercise, eventually it adapts. So, but it looks like we are at our time. So just to recap real quick, what are like the 2-3 things that you would love the listeners to come away from this interview with?
Let's see, 2 or 3 out of all those thousands of things we just talked about, because I know I talk really fast. I'm from New Jersey. So I think 2 or 3 things. We know mommies are sleep deprived, no matter how old their little ones are or their big ones, right? So sleep, huge. Do everything you can to shift your sleep, to change it, to make sure that you're getting deep sleep. And you're sleeping long enough to regenerate and rejuvenate your body. 2 is I would say to make sure that we're using food as medicine and not as our poison, because food can either feed us or it can kill us, right? And we want to make sure that we're eating more of the food that's feeding us and a whole lot less of the food that's killing us. And to know that stress is common. It's an everyday thing. It's something that you're not going to just get away from. You have systems designed to manage it and handle it. So make sure that you're treating your body, your mind, your spirit with as much respect as possible and managing your stress. And if you don't know how to manage it, then go to someone who can support you with it. And again, support you with either the herbs, the minerals and the nutrients from really high quality supplements, or from food, because it's so, it's so important. So
awesome. Thank you so much. I believe you also have a free gift to share.
Yes. And it's so new that I'm like, do I remember the name? I created it for you guys. So it's 40 ways to prevent physical and mental burnout, and it's specific strategies that you can implement today, right? So a lot of those things that we talked about today are outlined in this ebook, because it's really 40 amazing ways to help you to prevent it. Now, prevention you can treat as well, right? So you can use those same strategies, not just to prevent burnout and stress, but to also to relieve it if you have it now. And we know you have it now because nobody's getting away without stress. So get it, because it's amazing. It's a nice list of and strategies, because I don't want to just tell you what you have and not tell you how to fix it. So that's important.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much, Dr. Lisa. And thank you everyone for watching. As a reminder, the email that you were sent with this video also has a link to take you to being able to access this free gift. And this concludes today's interview of Motherhood Unlimited. Thank you everyone for joining us, and be sure to tune in tomorrow for another exciting, inspirational, and helpful interview from Motherhood Unlimited. I look forward to having you with us. Thanks. Bye.